Welcome to my channel. I am a university professor that prepares future teachers and master's programs. I specialize in teaching methods, learning theory, and curriculum design. I'm also a teacher trainer in all parts of Spain and Europe. I know many teachers, parents, and homeschoolers want to help their kids continue learning during these weeks to months while we're in lockdown. So I've decided to make a video showing you step by step how to take any unit from a school textbook and turn it into a unit plan that gives you an opportunity to interact and work along with your kids. You can also use this plan to create your own unit from scratch on any topic. What I'll be showing you works for most all primary and secondary content subjects as well as language learning. I have many years of experience training primary and secondary teachers. I have seen all of the books that they use and what typical units look like. Most units typically last about 8 to 10 sessions. You might have a special class that only meets once or twice per week and you have to fit more content into less time. Take that into consideration. Of course, you can go through a unit more quickly if you're just reading through it and filling in gaps. However, I want to show you how to make units come to life and have more meaning for your kids, which in turn creates better learning. So step one is to take any unit from your school textbook or from your course syllabus. Here are some typical examples: the scientific method, living things, ecosystems, music appreciation, or even language learning units like extremes. I've noticed that most units can be divided into 4 subtopics. Units usually start off with a review or an introduction to the topic, then progress in a logical sequence where each section builds off of the previous section. A good unit is constructed in this manner. You want to use the first section to activate prior knowledge and begin introducing the content in order to connect the material to previous schema or mental folders that the kids already have. We want to break the unit into 4 parts so that we can begin building the content little by little and create activities for each section. Here are some examples of breaking down the units into 4 subtopics. This is a very important step. So let's say your unit is ecosystems. If you look in the unit, most units will be broken down into these 4 areas: characteristics of an ecosystem, habitat, species, and adaptation. Another area could be drawing, which would be materials, lines, shapes, and shading; migration, which could be types of migration, causes, destinations, and effects. For music appreciation, it could be types of music, names of notes and duration, elements of music, and lyrics. For language learning, you could take a unit like extremes and then break that down into 4 subtopics such as extreme sports, weather, landscape, and food. If you're teaching language, you would also want a grammar focus, and the grammar focus for this unit could be modals if I wanted. The next step is to look for a mind map or a vocabulary bank at the end of your unit. In CLIL, we call this CALP, Cognitive Academic Language Proficiency. Basically, we're looking for the most important words and concepts we need to learn from this unit. If your unit doesn't have a vocabulary bank, box, or mind map, you can create it yourself. You're going to do something with this vocabulary. Take this vocabulary and put it on a separate piece of paper or wherever you're creating your plans. I have some unit templates on Teachers Pay Teachers. I'll speak more about that at the end of the video. When I have my students or teachers create unit plans, we create them in PowerPoint or Google presentations. This way you can make a visual representation of the unit for your kids and include all links, photographs, graphs, charts that you want to use throughout the unit. You can then convert it to a PDF and share it with others, or use it with your kids, or send it to your students. Now add that vocabulary bank, about 10 to 15 of the most important words or concepts from your unit. We're going to do something with these words as a pre-unit activity. Here are 2 examples. For the scientific method, here are about 10 to 15 of the most important words from this unit. And then also from ecosystems, I actually have a few too many in ecosystems, but it's just to give you a really good idea of what I mean by this vocabulary bank. At this point, we've created the first steps of our unit construction, and we're now ready to get into the unit. I'm showing you a general unit that could be used to do project-based learning, growth mindset, problem-based learning, maker education, and so on. I can make more videos on that later if there's a demand. I'm also going to take you through the steps of creating an advanced organizer. This is a very important part of teaching a unit. The construction of this could also give you ideas for projects or creative ways to connect your unit to real life and make them more meaningful for your students or kids. When we teach anyone, we want to engage the mind, activate prior knowledge, and connect new information, vocabulary, and concepts to what we already know. This is a very big learning aid, and so here's how it goes. The first thing we want to do is engage the students using a video or an image or a little experiment. Then we activate their prior knowledge by asking questions. We start introducing some of the new vocabulary from the bank that we just created, and we finish with a driving question. So here's an example. A typical advanced organizer takes place before the unit starts and is about 10 to 15 minutes long. You don't tell the students what the unit is about because it could ruin the effect. So since this is a quick activity, you want to choose attention-grabbing material that's not too long. Here's an example. Let's say my unit is on the solar system, and I want to choose something, it's for primary school, and I want to choose something that I'm going to use to engage my students but also activate prior knowledge. At the same time, I want to bring down fear so they don't have any worries about sharing their ideas. So I would show them a short video clip or an image of Buzz Lightyear. And then I would start asking some questions because of course they're going to want to talk about him. I would ask, do you know who this is? I would start asking about where he lives, what he wears, how he moves around, where he goes, how he gets to space, what's life like in space, and start introducing some of the words from that vocabulary box. Some of the words will be words that the kids already know, but some of the words will also be new, or even the concepts of how they're being used, especially when we talk about the solar system, what is rotating or orbiting or spinning around what and which direction is it going. So this is a good moment to start introducing some of these things, possibly talking about distance, and also at the same time, we're going to talk about observatories and planetariums. And so little by little, you guide the conversation towards those ideas of observation, and we're going to finish with a driving question. How could we encourage people to visit their local observatory or planetarium? And this is going to be the way I'm going to launch my unit. So the last step you want to create is that driving question. A driving question is an open-ended question that brings together all of the components of your unit and cannot be answered at this point. We would need to learn all of the content from all 4 sections of the unit before attempting to answer the question. The students are reminded of the driving question each day for the duration of the unit. The driving question can also launch the unit into a project or a problem to solve. Here are some examples of good driving questions. How does sugar impact the different systems of your body? Why do humans need bees? How could we share appreciation for our local music with tourists? And how could we promote appreciation for Art Nouveau structures in our town? If you would like to see more videos that go further into unit creation for projects, problem-based learning, growth mindset, or maker education, please support this channel by purchasing something from my Teachers Pay Teachers website. I don't have anything set up to take donations at this time, so it would be greatly appreciated if you went over to my Teachers Pay Teachers site and purchased an ebook there. They're very affordable. They range from $1 to $3.50. 2 of the books are also related to unit planning. I will put a link in the description box below. Thanks so much for your support. You can also go to my website and contact me if you would like one-to-one mentoring or teacher training online. There's also a link in the description box below.